Harvey Barnes to West Ham United. Now, this is definitely one to keep an eye on in the summer. Ex-WH employee has shown that we have registered an interest in him. Obviously, it's pretty clear that a lot of players who've just been relegated from the likes of Southampton, Leicester and Leeds are going to be making the jump straight back up to the Premier League or even to another First Division, with James Ward-Prowse and Harvey Barnes being very high on our radars. Now, he's a player that really, really excites me. I think he's direct. He almost reminds me of a Jarrod Bowen. Of course, not as good because Jarrod Bowen is just that much better. But imagine just having these two players at the wings. We've got one player with one meme of the Shaq and Danny Dyer. We've got one player on the other meme with the it's an equaliser meme. We've got the meme wingers. I mean, it's just a perfect sort of partnership for me. And I don't think they'll ask for too big a fee. I think probably in the region of like 20 to 30 million, which I actually think is a reasonable price for Harvey Barnes. Yes, at first they're going to be offering ridiculous sums of like £40 million or whatever, but there's not a massive amount of interest for him. I think we're one of the front runners to sign him at the moment. So for me, I think around 30 million would suit all camps. But the interesting part with this story, it's not so much about whether he's going to sign or not, because obviously that, it's very far away. We've not put a bid in. Nothing's materialised as of yet. We've just shown an interest. But the interesting part about this deal is it's thought that if he did come to the club, one of Maxwell Cornet, Pablo Fornals or Benrhama would be leaving the club. Now, this is very, very interesting for me because all three of the players I'd be pretty keen to stay on at West Ham United. Obviously, Fornals for me, I think is an unsung hero. I've been talking about it on the channel for a while. I really, really want it to happen. I would love him to come into that midfield. I think whatever player we get to replace Declan Rice in that number 6 spot stays there. We get Paulania. We get Paqueta on the right. We get Fornals into the left. You've got Paqueta who can just roam the pitch, do what he wants to do. You've got a number 6 who's going to be more covering than Declan Rice would be. His only job is going to be to sit in front of the defence, mop up the ball. A bit like a Casemiro for United or a Rodri, except for I think Casemiro gets a little bit too far forward. You just want somebody just sort of on the edge of the box, not getting too far. Whereas Declan Rice, as we know, loves to run into the box, loves to go on these runs. We know number 6 is just going to sweep in front of the defence, bring the ball out a little bit and play it to Paqueta and play through Paqueta. Having Fornals as his partner means that Fornals is very defensively sound. He works hard. He's got a good work rate. He's got a brilliant eye for a pass. I think bringing him centrally into the West Ham team for me would be crucial to next season. It'd be someone we don't need to sell. So I'm very keen not to sell him. Benrhama, look, he can be inconsistent at times. Sometimes if the team is playing as poorly as they are, he seems like one of the shining talents. And sometimes we're playing really well, we seem to be one of the weak links. There's no real kind of consistency with Benrhama. One thing that is consistent, however, is he's got talent, and we know he's got talent. He's brilliant on the ball. He's got an eye for a pass. He's one of the few West Ham players that actually drives and sort of like takes on players, which I love to see. And he seems to just have a really good rapport with the West Ham players. So for me, I'm not really too keen on selling him unless we could get like a 20, 30 million pound bid from, say, Brentford, in which case, we've got Harvey Barnes pretty much for, say, Benrhama. I don't think that's too bad business. And Maxwell Cornet is a weird one for me because I was really excited when we signed him. And then obviously he had this weird injury where he was sat on the sidelines and sort of, I'm coming back, but then spent 6 months sort of doing nothing. And then since he's come back, he's not really impressed me too much. I think he probably should have scored maybe 1 or 2 goals with the chances he's had. Do we want to maybe put him up front and see what he can do there? Maybe. Do we want to maybe play him on the right as a backup to Bowen? Because really at the club at the moment, we don't have a backup to Jarrod Bowen. I don't know. But if we're talking about the 3 players that are rumoured to leave, I'm desperate for Fornals not to leave. I think it could be really crucial to our team next season if he goes centrally, which I hope Moyes adopts, but I don't think he will because he's got this idea of having Thomas Souček in there. However, we know that James Ward-Prowse we're interested in. We know we're interested in other midfielders. So maybe Souček is somebody that he's looking to replace in the lineup. Benrhama, I think, probably has earned his spot at left wing for next season. And also, they're very different players, Harvey Barnes and Benrhama. Harvey likes to cut in on the right. He likes to be really direct and shoot low. Whereas Benrhama likes to kind of, you know, play with the fullback a little bit and make these runs in behind and drive at players and sort of create the space for the strikers to occupy in, you know. Think of Harvey Barnes as the way Jared Bowen plays for our side, as like an inside forward. I think for me, you know, it would be nice, but then I don't think you could have an Antonio and a Bowen and a Barnes. I think the perfect thing for me would be if Scamacca stayed at the club and he acted as like a Harry Kane and dropped back a little bit, and then you've got two inside forwards of Jared Bowen and Harvey Barnes. That would be perfect for me. But you know, the fourth option, of course, is, you know, do we sell Cornet? Do we sell Benrhama? Do we sell Fornals? Could we theoretically keep all four of them? You know, the fourth option for me is do we just keep them? I'm in no hurry to sell Benrhama. I think he plays really well. Again, no hurry to sell Fornals. And with Cornet, I still feel like maybe he's got a shot in the side. You know, he's somebody who can play a lot of positions for us. You know, it depends. Maybe he'd be happy sitting on the bench and playing the cup games. You know, hopefully Moyes hasn't got this idea in his head that the ranking is Benrhama, Fornals, or, you know, it'd probably be like Barnes, Benrhama, Fornals, Cornet, because that makes no sense to me. Move Fornals in the middle, move Cornet up top, try and integrate them in. I don't think we should be in any rush to sell players, but it does look like we're going to have to, and whether that's because of wages or funds, or whether we just don't feel like we can keep the players happy with the competition that will be on the left-hand side of the pitch, I'm not sure. But out of those three players, let's pretend that we are going to have to sell one of those three players. Out of those three players, I think it's pretty certain that no one wants to sell Fornals. And I'd be pretty surprised if people are going to be wanting to sell Benrhama after what he's done last season. So for me, and I'm sure many other fans, we'd probably be offloading Maxwell Cornet. And I think potentially that is what we will do in the summer. I actually think a move for Barnes is pretty likely at this stage. Obviously, as soon as we hear the news, we will report it on the West Ham way. And obviously, if you want to hear it sooner than anybody else, if you want to hear it before the YouTube channel, if you want to hear it as soon as possible, you head on down to Patreon, ex-Harvey employee on the West Ham way. All the exclusive news. You know, there's a lot to watch this summer. Declan Rice, Bowen potentially leaving. There's so much to watch this summer. Scamacca leaving as well. All the ingoings, you know, before anybody else. And do not forget, listen, it might have only been, I'm not sure when this video's coming out, but it might have only been like a week ago that we won the European title. But are we going to let fans forget it? No, we are not. And what's the best way to make them remember? Buying the West Ham Way merchandise. You get a cheeky little discount if you are a Patreon member. Link will be in the description. It should be dropping fairly soon. I know that I'm going to be copying some of that merch, undoubtedly. You know, we need to make these people remember we are the European champions. It may never happen again in our lifetime. And if you want something to remember it by, then head on down to the description. Keep your eye out on the West Ham Way shop at Shopify. And I will see you in the next video.